Howdy, howdy. Welcome on in to the pre-show before the free show. Did you switch your microphones when you recorded Tep and Step yesterday? There you go.
Doesn't seem relevant.
You sure did.
That doesn't seem relevant at all.
It actually
Hello,
is.
everybody. Welcome on into the pre-show before the free show. I'm your congenital host, Greg Tepper, joined as always by Ashley Pickle. Hello, Ashley Pickle.
Howdy.
What's new? What's the dealio?
Was that a pickle joke?
No.
Yeah,
Did
it was.
you take it as a pickle joke?
Yeah, because you had
Boy,
your little smirk.
I've got some mood lighting.
Yeah, it's
I
because
look
we
very, like, I don't know. I look like I'm up to something.
You don't look ghostly like you usually do. It's because we forgot to turn the lights off after Corey left.
Do you want me to go? Oh yeah. By the way, tomorrow we'll have Corey Hogue, Small College Insider, on the show.
Yeah.
He stopped by with his lovely wife Alicia. Oh God, I had a pre-show topic. I can't.
Man, things are going great.
Yeah, I don't know. I had a pre-show topic, but I haven't slept in like days. Do you have a pre-show topic while I think of mine?
I mean,
Boy,
I can
this is going really good.
just banter until
Mhm.
you think of one.
Is the Bachelorette tonight?
It is.
Okay, so we'll get our Bachelorette report tomorrow.
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Question for Thanksgiving.
No, I don't want to talk Thanksgiving.
You don't? Okay. Well, I had a legitimate question.
What was your question?
What's your stuffing situation or your dressing?
I do a homemade cornbread and sourdough
Okay, cornbread.
stuffing. I do cornbread and sourdough.
Okay, because there's a difference. Like Southerners use cornbread, and I can't remember. Northerners use more like biscuit
Mm-hmm.
type base, and my mom and I were going back and forth as to which side of the family recipe that we wanted to use.
Yeah.
And so you go cornbread?
Yeah.
That was a
cornbread and
legitimate
sourdough.
question.
Let me ask you, because here I remember my topic.
Okay.
Did you watch any scary movies? Did you watch any spooky movies?
No, I don't like scary movies.
You don't like scary movies?
No, I don't do scary.
Because the other night, this was, I guess, Saturday night.
Okay.
Saturday night, Tep wife and I were sitting on the couch and didn't really have anything to watch. Hank had just gone down and didn't really have anything to watch. We could have watched, like, the stuff on our DVR, like The Great North, which is excellent. You should watch The Great North. But we were like, let's just surf around. And we ended up seeing on our, like, Roku,
Mm-hmm.
it was like, press, you know how they'll do it. Do you have a Roku?
Yeah.
They'll do the advertisements where it's like, press play to go to this thing.
Yeah.
And it said you can watch Halloween. Now, have you ever seen Halloween?
No.
John Carpenter's Halloween.
Mm-mm.
I had seen it, but it was like 7 years ago. I saw Halloween. And Tep wife is not a scary movie person. Well, let me be clear. She is not a supernatural scary movie person.
Okay.
In the sense of, like, she doesn't want to do like ghosts. She don't want to do like aliens. She don't want to do like demons and curses or stuff like that. But Halloween is functionally a slasher movie.
So she's more fine with jump scares rather than like.
No, she doesn't like jump scares.
Okay.
But like really, like for example, we watched a couple. Had to be months ago. We watched like a couple of the Scream movies. Have you ever seen the Scream movies? Okay.
No.
You haven't?
No, I don't do scary movies. Like I mean that wholeheartedly. I avoid them at all possible
I think that's
costs.
a different category, though.
Yeah,
I really
don't,
do.
None of it sounds appealing. I don't. No.
Not like. What's the last scary movie you saw?
I was forced by my friends. I guess. Okay, I said yes, but it took a lot of convincing to go see it when it came out.
The new It, the remake.
Yeah.
Ugh.
That's like the only thing.
Go watch the
and
old-
that was more
well-
just FOMO of they were all going to the movie theater and I had nothing to do.
Actually, the old It's kind of lame too.
Yeah, so that's
we overrate it.
I was going to say
The
that's
mo-
like
the
the
book-
only thing. Other
the-
than that,
The book is wild. The book is a
Yeah.
wild ride that Stephen King perhaps was under the influence of a lot of drugs at the time. It is a wild ride.
But yeah, no. Other than
including
that,
things
I mean,
that aren't in the movie. Google it. I'll tell you when you're older.
yeah, I don't want to know actually.
No. And so that's the last scary movie you saw?
Yeah, I don't. I'm being completely honest when I say I don't do them.
I think I like scary movies. I think I do.
I see no fun.
Well, you also don't eat sweets, so it's like you just have all sorts of bad opinions.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah.
I just don't like. I don't know. Like, you know this too. I'm a jumpy person anyway.
Mm-hmm.
And so
you are.
I just don't find any enjoyment out of sitting there for an hour and a half with my heart just racing the whole time, waiting for something to pop out when I know for a fact I'm gonna do that.
Yeah.
Like, it's just not. It's not fun.
Yeah. I like it though. I think it's fun.
That's fine.
And so what I think is interesting is that like my wife was worried. She was like, because Jamie Lee Curtis is like first major role, and she was like, "Is this going to be like scary?" And I'm like, "I mean, it's just kind of like a slasher movie. It's like Michael Myers has a knife and he's kind of hunting people and stuff like that." And she was watching and she was like, "This is not all that scary." I'm like, "No, it's more moody. It's more like oh, where is he? Like I don't know.
I don't know. I feel like there's just a lot better things I could do with my time than sit there and be scared for that.
Yeah, I think
I don't like it. I do like adrenaline rushes and stuff, but that's more in like, you know what? Like I would say
I was gonna
that
say you like roller coasters.
Yeah, like adrenaline rush of actually doing something, but I would also say that I find a lot more enjoyment out of like crime stuff where I can also like where there are times where you get jumpy or the bad guy comes out or it's kind of gory or whatever, like I can get behind that, but I need my mind to be focused on something of trying to solve something, I guess. I think the mind numbness of just watching it to be scared is not as fun. But I think, like gory crime or anything like crime documentaries or creepy in that kind of form where I'm trying to legitimately figure out like, okay, who did it? What happened? I do like that. But I think it's because my mind's more focused on trying to figure something out rather than just sit there and be scared. Does that make sense?
Yes. Yeah. You're more.
I like
you're
scary,
more like psychological thriller.
Yes, exactly.
Than you are like scary movie.
Yeah. That's what I would say. I do like scary in that essence, but more of me trying to figure out what the scary thing was.
And with that, we close out spooky season. Hit the theme, Expo.
Let's go!
Yes, y'all. From the Dave Campbell's Texas Football Mothership here in beautiful Lewisville, Texas, it is Texas Football Today, a show on the internet. My name's Greg Tepper. I'm the managing editor of Dave Campbell's Texas Football, a magazine, TexasFootball.com, a corresponding website. Thank you for spending part of your day with us. Whether you're watching us live on TexasFootball.com, on Facebook, on YouTube, or on Twitch, all of those are websites, or you're listening to us in the podcast, which you can subscribe to on the podcast vendor of your choice. Either way, thank you for doing your part to support your local mediocre internet show. I am sitting over there at the helm today in a peach shirt. She's the Duchess of the Dorks. She's Ashley Pickle.
I'd say it's a little brighter than peach, to be honest with you. It's more like a salmon. Learn your colors.
I'm in no mood today. Today is Tuesday, November 2nd, 2021. 23 days till Thanksgiving. Make sure you take care of what you need to take care of, folks. Don't be caught with your pants down, okay?
Fact.
Happy birthday to... Whose birthday do you think it is? Happy birthday to Nellie.
Oh, nice.
I think I've mentioned this before. My wife's from St. Louis.
Yes. Oh, yeah.
You do not know chaos until you're at a wedding
in St. Louis.
And the first like beat of country grammar comes on. It is like Christ has descended from heaven at that moment, and everyone is losing their mind. Episode 1273. On today's show, guys, we're going to recap the college football weekend. We're going to talk about the Hall of Famer Craig Way. about all things high school football in the state of Texas. Perhaps we'll ask him about Texas as well. We'll unveil the DCTF top 10 plays of the week. Lots to do here on today's Big Tuesday. I'm gonna start calling it Big Tuesday.
Big Tuesday.
Big Tuesday. It's Big Tuesday on Texas football today.
That's like Big Taco or Big Tuna. The what they used to call Jim. Big Tuna. Big Tuesday.
Yes, it's just like
Some
that.
words
Some
are
words are
the
the
same.
same. Do we first force through the door?
It's the
You
first
big
thing
dork.
that popped into my
Golly.
mind. Aaron Arbuckle, Greg Veet, Derek Del Rio, and John Neal. Welcome in,
Wow,
fellas.
that's a bit of a remix first for.
Yeah, it was not a veteran crew.
That's fine. I like it. I like the new blood. Sometimes you gotta have some new blood.
I agree.
Pickle. Dave Campbell's Texas Football Impactful Leadership Award, presented by First National Bank of Omaha, will recognize 10 influential Texas high school football athletes who are leaders both on and off the field. Today, we are honoring Marcus Harbert of Wiley East High School. Congratulations to Marcus. He is the recipient of this week's Dave Campbell's Texas Football Impactful Leadership Award, presented by our friends at First National Bank of Omaha. Read more about what makes Marcus a great leader at texasfootball.com. And thanks to our friends at First National Bank of Omaha. All right, Pickle, let's recap a little bit of the college football weekend and talk some ball. Talk some ball.
That
Is that
is
what the kids say?
Objectively
the
what our
children
job is
say.
here.
We asked some burning questions on Friday, or on Thursday rather. Let's answer those questions in the affirmative. Well, what did we ask on Thursday? I don't know. I've drank a lot
That's fair.
of water. Very hydrated. And I'm ready, that's what I'm saying, to answer these questions.
Sure, fella. First one, Baylor. What is the showcase matchup Saturday morning in Waco as they figured it out and took down the Longhorns?
I'll tell you what it was. And when we mentioned this all came down to, in my humble opinion, it all came down to whether or not Texas was able to run the ball. This is the Texas team that I think is reliant on running the ball, getting Bijan Robinson going, and Baylor, plain and simple, stacked him up. They held him to 116 yards, or held Texas rushing to 116 yards on the ground. They can live with that. They were ineffective running the ball, plain and simple, and that was the difference maker in that one. Mm-hmm. Obviously, when Texas was able to go out there and took a lead and Baylor was able to come back, but that is, to me, look, that was the situation where it came into the most focus, where Baylor's down double digits in the second half. At that point, what Texas wants to do is go on long, sustained drives and not give Baylor an opportunity to get back to that. The fact that they were able to hold the running game down and keep them from running out that clock is the reason why Baylor's 7-1.
Right.
And the reason why they went away with a win. It came down to that. Texas, when they run the ball, is pretty darn hard to stop. Texas, when they can't run the ball, is pretty average.
Yeah.
That's about the long and short of it.
And I think that's really like a positive for Bears fans too to think about, is even after, like, Gary Bohannon hadn't thrown an interception since he had been named the starter, and then he comes out of the gate, throws two of them, and it's like, well, shoot, are we gonna be able to pull this out? And to know that your defense can kind of not hang their head on that and go back out there was huge for them.
Yeah, I think that was the biggest factor in this game, and Baylor comes away with a win. What's next, Pickle?
Up next, a yucky game. Texas State, can they hold Louisiana under 225 rushing yards? And I mean, a 45-0 shutout was just
hold on, Pickle.
Did they
hold
them though?
Here's the good news.
There is no good news when you lose 45-0.
Let me make sure I got this right. I'm seeing that they held them to 160-something yards of rushing.
Which is even more embarrassing to go 45-0.
They lose 45-0. They did hold them. Let's make sure we get this right. They held them. No, never mind. 282. That's count. That's removing garbage time. 282. So no. Look. Here's the thing, because I'm looking at advanced score and they remove garbage time. Here's the thing. I think this is rock bottom for Texas State.
It has to be.
I think this is it, and I'm not. I don't know if firing Jake Spavital is the answer. It may be the only thing they have left in their bag is to do this. He got the dreaded vote of confidence this week from the athletics department. Said we know we're disappointed in the football team, but Coach Spavital has our full support. That is usually followed by a guy being fired. This was a disastrous game for for Texas State. This is as bad probably as they've played all year, and that's certainly saying something. Louisiana's pretty good, but it doesn't excuse that. This was a horrific game for them, and anything they wanted to do worked for Louisiana, and they just couldn't move the ball at all. I mean, they were miserable. Their success rate in this game was 37%. That is not going to cut it.
That's the thing for Spavital to be able to stick around at the beginning of the year. Really, what we talked about was you just have to go out there and do something, and it's like he can't even get them to do something to save the job.
The other thing is they were consistently putting themselves in like third and long.
Yeah, and you can't shoot yourself in the foot.
They could not convert it. So yeah, bad times in San Marcos. What's next, Pickle?
More just bad times. Who is the game more important to, North Texas or Rice? This one had to go into overtime in the Sicko Bowl. 30-24, North Texas found a way to pull out a game that they just literally tried so hard to hand Rice.
Yeah, it's funny. I actually thought that in a lot of ways, I thought Rice was the better team in this game.
Oh, yeah. No doubt about it.
But they plain and simple just couldn't come up with the plays when they counted. And credit to Texas State. That's what they needed to do. A lot of this game, I think, like little things like special teams ended up being like making a big difference, that they were able to, win field position battles and things like that, and North Texas was able to kind of gut out a win. This was ugly. This was horrific. I don't think either of these teams feel good about it, because I think that they went up against a bad team and they looked like that. For Rice, this is, I think, very concerning. I'm not saying Mike Bloomgren's job's in jeopardy, because I think it's just a different situation at Rice. But to follow up what was a really impressive victory, right, and a really impressive performance in the win over UAB, to go out there and to really struggle like that, I thought was really disappointing. So, yeah, it was yucky. It was bad.
Consistency has to start at some point for Rice. Like, you can't
and by the way,
I do want
it's worth mentioning that Wiley Green got hurt in this game.
Yeah.
And before he came out, Wiley Green was actually playing okay. I would say, I'm not saying that would have changed the game, because Jake Constantine, I don't think he came in here and lost the game for him, but you do wonder. And certainly for teams that are struggling, you need all hands on deck. And whenever you have to go to the backup, when you're a struggling team and you go to your backup quarterback, especially considering Wiley Green had looked so good against UAB.
Yeah,
I don't know. This was disappointing.
Well, especially, and this is just one of those things too. Like, we say that Wiley Green was the clear-cut starter, but then it's like they've been switching all year anyway. Yeah. So that's just the consistency.
Right. What's next, Pickle?
Up next, it was our small school game of the week. The question was, what does Howard Payne have to do to spring the big ASC upset, and they lost 38-14 against Hardin-Simmons.
Yeah, they gave him a little bit of run. This game was close into at halftime. I want to say it was like 17-14 or something like that at halftime. And basically Howard Payne kind of spit the bit early in the second half, and it was 14-7 at half. Right, Howard Payne was down. Hardin-Simmons then returned the next kickoff. And then it was an interception, and it was like over from there. Give credit to Hardin-Simmons. One of the things that we said is that they have had trouble containing big passing offenses, and certainly they were able to they were able to come up with big plays. Most notably, that they came up with 5 interceptions.
Yeah.
Landon McKinney got his. He threw for 255, but he also threw and a touchdown, but he also threw 5 picks. So give credit to Hardin-Simmons. They're going up against a big, high-powered passing attack, which they've struggled against, and they were able to come out with the win and come up with the big plays. So, I think Howard Payne, as we'll talk about with Corey Hogue tomorrow, Howard Payne, I think they still got to feel really good about where they're going this season. But obviously, whenever you play a team that's really good like this, you got to play perfect, and they certainly did not do themselves any favors. What's next, Pickle?
Up next, we head back to Big 12 action. The question was, what is a reasonable expectation for Texas Tech the rest of the way? A 52-21 loss after losing their coach the week before. It was to Oklahoma, by the way.
To Oklahoma. This game was never going to go any other way. I mean, you certainly don't want to be on the wrong end of a Caleb Williams just like showcase, like a Caleb Williams Heisman game.
Right.
But we knew the defense was in trouble.
It's been a wild week out there.
I actually thought that Donovan Smith came in and played okay at quarterback. Yeah. I thought he played okay. And I think that at times the offense looked like they had a little bit of life. They weren't able to run the ball worth crap, but they were able to throw the ball a bit. And yeah, look, it's a lost season for Tech. They were never going to go to Norman and win this game. Most especially, they were never going to go to Norman and win this game with an interim coach.
Right.
You know, it is what it is. They're tougher game. There are still games ahead that they got to feel like they got to go out there and win. The one now you wish you had. Well, I mean, there's two of them, right? Mm-hmm. You gotta wish you got the game against TCU.
Yep.
That was the game you needed to have. Once that slipped through your fingers, that was the one that was really the definite.
Realistically, the way Texas is playing now, they should have had that one too. So it's just an anomaly there.
All right, what's next, Pickle?
Up next, let's talk about those aforementioned Horned Frogs. Max Duggan over/under on 275.5 total yards. TCU, the game that let go of Gary Patterson after they lose 31-12 in Manhattan.
Okay, so let's first answer the question, which is over/under 275 yards of total offense, and under, big under. Significant under. Max Duggan ends up getting a grand total of 65 yards.
Oh, jeez.
He got benched in this game for Chandler Morris. And
it was just a wet fart.
Look, the defense is bad. Mm-hmm. We knew the defense is bad, but this is what happens when the offense just doesn't show up.
Yep.
And it was, and by the way, Zach Evans didn't play in this game. It was horrific. This was, I mean, look, I'm not saying that Gary Patterson, this is one of those things that after the fact, if you look back at this game, you go, oh, yeah, I guess I can see that. Mm-hmm. It was a horrifying game. Now, I thought actually Chandler Morris looked okay in relief, but Max Duggan, if he's going to go out there and spit the bit like this, I mean, he could not be protected. The offensive line really failed him. They weren't able to run the ball with any sort of consistency. They had one basically long run from Kendre Miller, and that was it. This was a bad.
It was awful.
This was. It wasn't rock bottom in the same way that Texas State was rock bottom, but this was the worst TCU performance in years.
I quit watching it.
It's awful. It was awful.
It was not enjoyable in the slightest.
It was objectively not fun to watch. Mm-hmm. What's next, Pickle?
Up next, so sad here. UTEP is 0-25-1 all time in Eastern Time Zone. Do they get their first ever win? Make that 0-26-1 as they drop it 28-25 against FAU. And darn it,
they tried. Look, here's the thing. They were this thing when I'll be honest when FAU ran for a touchdown to put them up 2010 early in the fourth, I flipped it off.
Yeah.
Give them credit. They came back and they stormed back and they had an opportunity late.
They kept fighting.
But in the end it was not enough. A lot of it just came down to the fact that their offense just didn't do enough. Their offense, they only had, is this right? They had 211 yards of offense? Mm-hmm. That seems bad, guys. I'm going to be honest. That seems real bad. Yeah, they had, no, that's not true. I'm sorry. I was looking at the wrong number. Gavin Hardison actually had a pretty decent game. But the offense was just not able to come up with it.
It was too little too late.
It really was. And
if you would have had 5 more minutes, it might have been different. But a little bit of a slow start.
The other thing is, I think what we learned about and what we know now about UTEP, because this is basically only twice that they have played what we would call a negative game state. Mm-hmm. They have had to chase, right? They are not built to chase.
No.
They've got to play from ahead.
Well, and
they have to.
You start to think, too, with just the way that program has been for so many years, I'm sure that mentally there's a little bit of a, now we have to try and do way too much to get us back up. Dana Dimmel has done such a good job this year of kind of implementing that winning culture, but ultimately you go back to your old ways when you're having to chase like that.
Yeah, it was, look, it was disappointing, but in the end, kind of felt like they were going to come back to earth. It is amazing that they can't win on the East Coast. That's probably,
I know, yeah.
It's probably, honestly, it's probably just more, it's more random than it is telling. Do you know what I mean? It's just it's more indicative of the fact that UTEP's been a program that struggles and as opposed to they're cursed in the Eastern Time Zone.
Right.
But it is interesting that now they're 0-26.
Yeah, it's two different time zones. Yeah. So.
All right, what's next, Pickle?
Up next, the game of the year there. The question was who you got, Cougs or Ponies?
Look, I believe I took them Cougs.
You did, and with a 44-37 win. How about Houston?
How about Houston?
I mean, they could do this.
Look, the biggest play of the game. The biggest play of the game was, of course, the game-winning kickoff return for a touchdown by Marcus Jones. Remarkable. Give SMU a lot of credit for fighting back.
Oh, yeah.
That they were down early in this game, and it kind of looked like, in the first quarter, kind of looked like Houston might run away from them.
Yep.
And, run away and hide. SMU had stomach for the fight. They came back. In the end, came up with one individual play that was just remarkable. And now, look, Houston's got to feel like they're in the driver's seat to play for an AAC championship.
Yeah, you have to.
Where they'll play Cincinnati, and they could certainly play spoiler. I'll say that.
Yep.
I hate to break it to you, but Houston's not getting in the playoff. But, they can win a conference, and they can certainly ruin a lot of dreams along the way. They're going to be favored in the rest of their games.
Yeah.
And they're going to be favored pretty considerably in most of these games. So, I think everything's in front of them now. SMU, look, you got to hope now Houston kind of slips up and you're able to go and maybe sneak back into it. But in the end, what a game! What a win for Houston! What a win for Dana Dimel, or not Dana Dimel, Dana Holgerson. It just struck me we have two coaches named Dana in this state.
Welcome.
That's the biggest win for him at Houston by a pretty considerable margin. And those are the kind of vibes that he was hoping to bring.
And that's what I feel like we expected when he got hired. This is the program that we expected him to have, not the last 2 insane years.
Dana Holgerson was hired to win games like this, plain and simple, and he did. Because you know what? There's a lot of other coaches who were hired to win big games, and they don't. Jim Harbaugh has been holding on to his job for a long time, and he hasn't won a game that matters at Michigan, right? You win the games that matter, and the rest takes care of itself. That was a game that mattered there for Dana Holgerson, and he came away with a win. All right, there it is. There's our college football recap. We're Texas Football Today. We're here every weekday at noon on TexasFootball.com, talking football in the Lone Star State. You can follow us on Twitter at TCTF, like us on Facebook, Facebook.com/Dave Campbell's. Follow us on Instagram, Instagram.com/Dave Campbell's. And, of course, see us at TexasFootball.com. Pickle, Dairy Max, and Dave Campbell's Texas Football are proud to team up this year to honor excellence in coaching and the hard work that assistant coaches put in on behalf of their teams. Each week, the Texas football staff nominates 4 deserving assistant coaches for the Dairy Max, built by Chocolate Milk, Assistant Coach of the Week, and let fans decide on the winner via a Twitter poll. It all leads up to the Dairy Max, built by Chocolate Milk, Assistant Coach of the Year, decided at season's end. Your Week 10 Dairy Max, built by Chocolate Milk, Assistant Coach of the Week nominees. Clear Falls defensive coordinator Destry Cope. The Knights defense forced a pair of turnovers and held district rival Clear Creek to just 215 total yards of offense in a critical 13-7 win over the Wildcats. Crandall offensive coordinator Kevin Brewer. Chris Abram ran for 172 yards and 4 touchdowns to pace a 458-yard assault as the Pirates took down Corsicana 63-40. Lubbock Estacado defensive coordinator Jeff Litke. The Matadors pitched their 3rd shutout of the season, capturing the District 2 4A Division II crown with a 21-0 win over Levelland. And finally, Goliad offensive coordinator John Levas. The Tigers racked up 603 yards of total offense, and Aiden Barrientos ran for 5 touchdowns in a 72-34 romp over Palacios, clinching a playoff spot. So those are your Dairy Max, built by Chocolate Milk, Assistant Coach of the Week nominees. Vote now on Twitter at DCTF. Pickle, let's go to the hotline, and let's bring in the Hall of Fame voice of the Texas Longhorns, the Hall of Fame voice of Texas high school football, the Hall of Fame contributor to Texan Live, I can say now.
Yeah.
We are go to the phone lines now to bring in the great Craig Way, Texan Live's own Craig Way. I'm just gonna claim you for us. That's just the way it's gonna go, Craig.
I'm fine being claimed. It's okay. I've lived the life of being unclaimed at times, so I'm good with that. And looking forward to it. It's going to be fun Thursday night.
Yeah, so for those who don't know, it's going to be Craig Way and I on the call on Texan Live for Pflugerville Weiss and Georgetown in a pretty big showdown there in Central Texas. Pflugerville Weiss can clinch the outright district championship with a win. Georgetown's kind of in the thick of it. Trying to shore up as best of a position as they can. Craig, I know you're already starting your prep work there with Georgetown and Pflugerville Weiss. With this game in particular, what are you going to have your eye on? What jumps out to you about this matchup we're going to see there at the Field on Thursday?
Well, both teams do have exciting offenses. and both can get it up and down the field. And Weiss is not afraid to get in a shootout, and neither is Georgetown for that matter. In fact, they had one of those last week, and they've put some points on the board, which, by the way, Tep, I should point this out. Their propensity to put points on the board has put the Eagles in a good position should they fall into a three-way tiebreak. Now, if let's just say if these two things happen this weekend out of that district, 11-5 AD1, Manor, which the computer apparently thinks is 2 points better than Cedar Park. If Manor were to win that game over Cedar Park, and then Pflugerville-Hendrickson were to beat Pflugerville. Now the computer is more enamored with the Panthers with Pflugerville High, but Hendrickson has pulled some surprise. They've beaten Cedar Park this year. So if Hendrickson were to beat Pflugerville and Manor were to win, and even if Weiss were to win, Georgetown's in a three-way tiebreak at that point. Georgetown there with Hendrickson and Cedar Park. You know who the odd team out is? Cedar Park.
Wow.
Cedar Park, state finalist a year ago, and and it's not that far-fetched a situation where the T-Wolves could completely miss out on the playoffs if those things happen. So, and a big part of that would be Georgetown beat Hendrickson earlier this year 62-3, and then Hendrickson has I think a 5-point win over Cedar Park. So, and Cedar Park has a 3-point win over Georgetown. So the tie breaks would knock them out if those things were to happen. We'll see. And then of course it could come down to if Georgetown beats Weiss, then they're completely out of what could be the potential tie break anyway. So the point is, there are things at stake as you and I slide into the booth at the field in Pflugerville on Thursday night.
It's one thing that stinks. And look, I know you've got a straight gig, right? I get it. But I am sad you're not going to be on Scoreboard with us. You're not going to be on the desk because you're going to be up in Ames for Texas and Iowa State, which is a bummer because I know this is one of your favorite weeks of the year. I know that it pains you to not be in the mix of it. So then how are you going to consume this week 11, which I know you hold very dear to your heart?
Well, to your point, I've told people my three favorite nights of the year are season opener, state championship Saturday or Friday during that weekend, of course, and the final Friday night of the regular season, which happens to be this week, because as I always like to say, that's when you unwrap the playoff package. That's when you find out who's in, who's out, what it took to get some teams in and some teams out. And I've been around. I've been able to bear personal witness to bizarre coin flips, the things of that nature, and tiebreakers and all that kind of stuff. So it's kind of part of the fabric of this game. It might not be a favorite part of the fabric, especially for coaches, but it's still part of the fabric of what Texas high school football is all about. Now, to your question, obviously, as I sit in a hotel room, I think the team will be staying in Ankeny, Iowa, which is between Des Moines and Ames. So I think as I sit in my hotel room in Ankeny, Iowa, I'll be keeping up with the Football Friday app. I'll be watching. And then I am joining you guys, probably our producer, Patrick Madrowski, and I worked this out, probably late in the show after all the coaches have had their say. So just we can come back and look at the smoldering ruins of the end of the regular season on that final Friday night and try to make sense of it. So I will be popping on with you and Rico and the crew on Friday.
I will also say, and I know you would love to be there, but I also know that there has to be at least some semblance of relief that you don't have to try to figure out tiebreakers live on the air on television. Guys, I promise you, we're going to try our best, but it's just like we just kind of need the dust to settle, and if I don't know immediately what's going on Friday night, that's okay. I promise you, we will figure it all out who's getting in. But that is always one of the more I don't want to say frustrating, but one of the singular moments of the year is it's going to get to about 10:30 p.m. and people are going to be saying, "Well, who's playing who?" And my answer at that point is going to be like, "I don't know. I need to get out an abacus. I need to figure out. I need to make a phone call."
Yeah, mine has been less about who's playing who and more about not declaring someone legally dead.
Yeah.
You know, where you've said, and I've done that before years ago when you say, well, so-and-so based on this is in and so-and-so is out. So you make that declaration on there. Then you find out from somebody, no, it was a positive points only tiebreaker, or just the opposite. No, it was a plus minus. Therefore, Team A is not in, they're out, and Team B is in. So you stupid idiot, you got it wrong. You know, that you run that risk. But you know what? That's kind of the tightrope we walk, Tep, on that final Friday night of the regular season. Adds a little dangerous thrill to it. Can you get it right? Can you get it? You know, get the details nailed down and be correct. It's part of what we do, why we do those things. So it's kind of important for us to make sure that we nail down those details if we can. It's a lot of fun. It's a challenge.
It is. All right. There is, of course, a game down in your neck of the woods in Austin that a few people are thinking about. Of course, they're thinking about the Pflugerville-Weiss and Georgetown game, which you can watch live on TexanLive.com with Craig Way and I on the call. There's another small game, I suppose, with Austin Westlake and Lake Travis going at it. It has been 2 years since they've played. It has been a minute. All eyes are going to be on who's playing quarterback for Westlake, who does Cade Klubnik play, et cetera, et cetera. I know you talk with both coaches on a pretty frequent basis. Let me just ask a broad question. What is your feel for this game? Because it strikes me that for as much as we want to get excited about these high-flying offenses, the strength of both of these teams may, in fact, lie on their athletic and improving defenses as the season has progressed.
I couldn't agree more. They've got Lake Travis's defense has really gotten better and ratcheted it up in the second half of the season. And we talked last week about how they may have quietly kind of flown under the radar after the early season non-district loss, but they've cruised through the rest of late. They're getting a couple of banged up defensive players back this week too, a starter in the secondary and a starter on the defensive line, according to Hank Carter, who was on my show this morning. And which of course then begs the other question, what happens with Westlake? Does Cade Klubnik play? If I were guessing, and I haven't visited with Todd Dodge this week, and I won't get a chance to visit with him tomorrow, he'll be on our show, but I won't be on our show because I have a board meeting for the Texas High School Football Hall of Fame up in Waco. So I'm going to miss the show tomorrow. But if I were guessing, knowing Todd Dodge as I know him, it would not surprise me to hear him say, we're going to sit Cade one more week, because in the final analysis, what is this game for? Two things, bragging rights and a gold ball for the district title. That's it. It doesn't affect seeding. It doesn't affect any of that stuff because Lake Travis is going to Division I and Westlake's going D2. There's like in talking to Hank Carter about it, his biggest concern is not winning or losing the game. He wants to get everybody out of that game healthy. That's what he wants. And I'm sure that Coach Dodge wants the same thing. He wants to get those guys out of the game and healthy. And if he can get those guys out of that and ready for the bi-district round of the playoffs, so much the better. And that I think is the concern for both head coaches. Now, having said all that, it's a fascinating matchup, and it is a rivalry thing. And Hank Carter did say that they have noticed more electricity, and this is always the case with this game every year, more electricity from the community, from the families. He said, I think every player has had a nice breakfast for them cooked every morning by their moms, because all the moms are fired up about this game. So that's kind of what the temperature is of this game, whereas the coaches are trying to keep their kids just focused on playing a good football game, get out of it healthy, and let's move on to the postseason.
One last question for Craig Way, the Texas High School Football Hall of Famer, joins us every Tuesday here on Texas Football Today, and it is, of course, the mean one that I ask him every week. Craig, I'm going to give you an option in this magical world where you don't have to be in what was the name of the town in Iowa?
Ankeny.
Ankeny. Okay.
Sure.
You don't have to be in Ankeny, Iowa. You can instead teleport to any of these three Texas high school football games. I'm intentionally leaving out Westlake and Lake Travis. So you can go to the Star in Frisco and watch Denton Ryan and Frisco Lone Star. You can go to Forsan, Texas, and watch unbeaten Hawley and unbeaten Forsan, or You can go. I believe this game is in Matador. You can go to Matador, Texas, and watch Motley County and Jayton. Which of those 3 games are you teleporting to?
I'm going to Matador. Yes, Matador is the place there in Motley County, because those 2, even though it's 1 and 7 in the state, in your rankings, I think it's a pretty evenly matched game. I like it an awful lot. That's probably the one that I would be most inclined to attend. The other 2 games, I think, are show me games, show me opportunities for Lone Star, and another show me opportunity that you're talking about in the case of Forsan. So I want to see how they do, because I think Hawley and Ryan are probably expected to handle their business. But it could wind up being, they're all really good matchups between top 10 ranked teams. So that's a lot of fun to go. And the other thing it's going to be interesting to watch, we talk about these crazy playoff races. We've been talking about 13 3A Division II for a while. There exists a mathematical possibility of a 4-way tie for the last playoff spot. Realistically, I don't think it'll happen, but there is a shot at a 4-way tie for the last playoff spot, and certainly a 3-way tie could be a real possibility. So yeah, that's all up there. And by the way, one final note about Ankeny. You don't want to sleep on Ankeny, Iowa too much. They have a joint in that town called the Leaning Tower of Pizza, and it's pretty good. It's pretty good, especially for Iowa.
You should Pickle is literally booking a flight right now to Ankeny.
Yeah, I'll see you there Saturday.
Yeah. He's Craig Way. He's a Texas High School Football Hall of Famer. Joins us every Tuesday here on Texas Football Day. Hear him on The Horn in Austin, and of course on High School Scoreboard Live most Friday nights. He'll join us remotely Friday night, but catch him on the call of Iowa State and Texas on the Texas Radio Network by Learfield. Craig, appreciate your time, my friend. I will miss you desperately on Friday, but we can unwrap the present.
We'll look forward to it, and I look forward to seeing you on Thursday. And I'm trying to talk Pickle into joining us. We could use a spotter in the booth, right?
Hey,
there you go.
There you go. Appreciate you, Craig.
All right, see you guys.
Bye,
there
Greg.
You go. It's Craig Way, the Texas High School Hall of Famer. Hear him on the call of Pflugerville Weiss and Georgetown on TexanLive.com. You can it'll be myself on color, but most importantly Craig on play-by-play. And I guess that's one of the things I want to point out. And I just want to say, guys, Craig doesn't call a ton of high school games.
No.
Like, he basically does like the state championships, he does like Texas football days, and then there might be like 1 or 2 sprinkled in the middle. Like, this is an event. This is a big deal. So please, TexasLive.com, make sure you're watching Pflugerville Weiss and Georgetown. It's going to be a lot of fun. Big game down there in Central Texas. I've never been to the Field, so it's gonna be fun.
Looky there.
Never been,
a new experience in all sorts of ways. Exciting stuff.
Working on my spotter boards right now.
There you go.
Appreciate Craig White hopping on with us. All right, Pickle. Should I give you some time? Hold on. We're Texas Football Today. We're here every weekday at noon on TexasFootball.com. You know all that stuff. Blah, 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 blah. Dave Campbell's Texas Football, and from now on, are proud to team up this year to honor one head football coach in each classification with the Coach of the Week award. Each coach recognized with a special honor typifies the best in Texas high school football. Your Week 10, from now on, Coaches of the Week. In 6A, Mark Torres from El Paso, Pebble Hills, picked to finish 6th in the preseason polls by some dum-dums. Coach Torres' young Spartans pushed through an 0-2 start to the season and have gotten red hot down the stretch, including a thrilling 30-27 win over on Friday night over El Paso, Montwood, to improve to 5-1 on district play. They were down 24-0 before they rallied for a win. In 5A, John Bolfing from Montgomery. Coach Bolfing's Bears held off Huntsville in a 35-28 overtime thriller on Friday night to improve to 9-0 in the season, clinching their first district title since 1989 with the win. By the way, I got a note from a mutual friend of ours, Pickle, whose name I will not read on the air because he did not give me permission to.
Okay.
That was his 114th game that he has coached with a Bolfing at the starting quarterback spot.
That does not surprise me.
It's pretty wild, right?
Yeah.
He's got a bunch of boys, and they've all been good quarterbacks. Anyway, that's pretty remarkable. Let me pull up the rest of it. 4A, Todd Wallace from Quinlan Ford. Coach Wallace has the 9-0 Panthers on the brink of history after a thrilling 39-36 win over Caddo Mills Friday night. With a win next week, Quinlan Ford can secure their first ever unbeaten regular season and first outright district title since 1979. In 3A, Matt Schobel from Columbus. Coach Schobel has the Cardinals thinking Arlington could be in the plans after Columbus all but secured the district title in the brutal District 12 3A Division I with a hard-fought 14-13 win over Hallettsville. In 2A, Cal Netherland from Somerville. Coach Netherland's Jaguars clinched their first playoff appearance since 2017 and only the third for the school since 1991 with an impressive 50-6 win over Bartlett on Friday night. Big game for them this week against Granger. In 1A, Sam Winters from Hermleigh. Back for his second stint as the Cardinals head coach, Winters made history on Friday night with a 66-48 win over state-ranked Ira, guiding the program to its first 10-0 start since 1978. And the private school ranks Jordan Black from Fort Bend Christian. Coach Black has the Eagles thinking about a district championship after Fort Bend Christian's 49-7 win over Houston Lutheran South, setting up a showdown in Week 11 with Houston Second Baptist for the TAPS District Division II District 4 crown. So those are your Week 10 from now on Coaches of the Week. Congratulations to all the coaches, and thank you for what you do for your teams, schools, and communities. For more information on how your school can get a one-stop shop experience that transforms how it connects with fans and communities, visit from-now-on.com. One last thing to do, Mademoiselle Pickle, and that is to roll out the Dave Campbell's Texas Football Top 10 Plays of the Week! That's right. If you see a play in the high school ranks that you think should be on our DCTF Top 10 Plays of the Week, tweet it to us. Hashtag DCTF Top 10.
Especially with the playoffs coming up. We know that there's going to be some ridiculous plays out there, and we don't want to miss any of them. So please tag us.
Tag us. Hashtag DCTF Top 10.
We give you credit.
Pickle goes through, scours the internet, looks for the best plays, puts them all together, puts some music on them, plays them on the show. Here's the DCTF Top 10 Plays of the Week.
Rushing per game, and so that shows you that they can keep up with this Creekview offense. Wow.
Jordan Crane, hard to keep up with him. A speedster down the left sideline, all the way to the house. Touchdown, Creekview.
Here's the return this time. Johnson again. One man to beat. Johnson. All the way. Touchdown. Cy Woods. Just like that. We're an extra point from a tie game.
They're in a high formation. Man in motion. Brisbane hands the ball off. Pitches it back to Brisbane. Brisbane takes a shot down the field. And I tell you what, it's off the hands of Elam. And it's an interception.
To the right side. Now he sends Reeves out of the backfield in motion. Coming up to the short side. Now Peralta is going to have to take it for himself. 35-40 and gets the first down. He's still on his feet across the 50. 40 and he's going to break free. 20, 10, 5. Touchdown, Jacoby Peralta.
Henry. Double pass. Niblett's going to go long. Got Fleming open. And he hits him in stride. And he is down inside the 20.
And that's why they call Ryan Niblett an ATH. He does just about everything out there. He used to be the quarterback, and we can see what a great throw by Niblett.
First down and 10. Now it's Castillo taking the snap. He'll run a left side, and he will jump over and get into the end zone. Touchdown. Did I just see that?
Into the backfield with McDonough. Cedar Hill's defense is on the field. Fans are on their feet. Holdman lines up near McDonough. Midway at the 42-yard line with 45-17 Cedar Hill. The snap. Tedford. Holdman picks it up, grabs it. He's going to run. Titus 50. Titus 40. Titus Holdman 20. What a moment. Touchdown. Titus Holdman. And everybody Both teams swarmed Titus Holdman, and what a moment, Craig Smoke. Oh, I've never been a part of something like this, an incredible moment.
Yeah, and the officials are waiting.
There it is, your DCTF Top 10 Plays of the Week. You can find those on YouTube. If you're interested, that last play is from it's the final play of the Cedar Hills win over Hewitt Midway. That is special needs player Titus Holdman for Midway, who broke the long touchdown run there. Our friend David Smoke and Craig Smoke on the call there. And fantastic stuff. Play of the week, certainly. And as I mentioned on Scoreboard when we had that highlight, that was one of our plays of the night on Valley Sports Southwest. Not a surprise, considering the class acts on both sides with Carlos Lynn over there at Cedar Hill and Shane Anderson.
I love that they celebrate with him too. That was awesome. Both teams out there, that was very, very
easily. No contest. Sorry to all the one-handed catches and stuff.
Yeah, no contest
y'all are all
there.
fighting for second place this week. Titus Holdman gets our play of the week. Let's go to Ashley Pickle for America's second favorite segment. Final thoughts?
Just want to remind some people, too, I think that Facebook, the chat has been messing up for some people. It seems to be working for some, doesn't work for others. That I just want to remind everyone that we are on YouTube every single day and Twitch. If you are tired of any comment things or anything going wrong on Facebook, you are welcome to come join us. That's youtube.com/Dave Campbell's TF. And the other thing with YouTube is that we cut all of the clips from the show. So if you miss anything, go back and watch it. They're cut that day. So just kind of some housekeeping stuff for anyone who's kind of new around these parts, especially since playoffs are coming around. We tend to get new people.
Every show is somebody's first.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so, hi, we're an internet show, and we've done this. What's today's episode?
Far too long.
1,271.
273.
Oh, that's too many. That's at least 3 too many. I thought 1,200. When Max and I started the show, we were like, let's do 1,270 shows and stop. And now, we're in overtime.
Yeah.
So, anyway, that's going to do it for us. Thanks for spending a little bit of your day with us. Follow us on Twitter at DCTF. Like us on Facebook. Facebook.com/Dave Campbell's. Follow us on Instagram. Instagram.com/Dave Campbell's. And, of course, see us at TexasFootball.com. Tomorrow, big show. This Week in Recruiting with Greg Powers. And Corey Hogue, our small college insider. A little small college talk for all you small college football nerds. For Ashley Pickle, I'm Greg Tepper. Thanks to Craig Way for being our guest. Vince Young, please meet your Player of the Year trophy. We'll see you tomorrow on Texas Football Today.